Hello, this is Gator, Fine Solution. How y'all doing tonight? Thought I'd step forward and say a little something. It's holiday time and everything. In fact, if you're looking for a very good time, as far as lighting, displays, and things go, if you're into that with your family or girlfriends or whatever, Middletown at Smith Park has the, I guess, number one rated lighting display in the entire area. So go check it out. They got their own little music station going when you go through there and everything. It's really nice. I'm not sure if they're serving hot cocoa there this year or not. They usually do, though. Been getting a lot of things from emails and stuff from Kings Island. Um, Everybody knows I'm of the opinion that when they had Hanna-Barbera, which is very true, I'm not saying nothing that's not true, they made more money because they had a bigger crowd, because they had something for everybody from 90 all the way down to 2. It wasn't just for oversized kids that are 30 trying to pretend like they're 16 still, because they still live with mommy and daddy or whatever. Um, it had something for literally everybody, not just roller coasters. And whoever came up with that dinosaur idea, that's a doofbag. But Kings Island back in the 80s was rated the number one amusement park in the entire world, and it's in Mason, Ohio. They had Hanna-Barbera Land. They had the King Cobra. They had the Bat. They had Screaming Demon roller coaster. They had the Twirly. They had Flintstone ride, which was where you got in an old Flintstone style car and you drove around a track. They had the old Model A cars, same thing. They had a train ride where, as you got on the train and the train took off, Indians acted like they were trying to attack the train like it was the Old West. Pretty neat stuff, man. They had much better restaurants. They used to have taco stands at every corner of the Eiffel Tower. Um, it was just it was, and they kept such good care of it at that time. The original owner really took good care of it. He landscaped it. Um, it was impeccably clean. It's not nearly as clean as it used to be. It's cleaner than what Paramount had it, but it's not still not up to par of what the original owner had. Nowhere near it. I mean, it's not even in the same league. Um, they used to have ice capades, uh, and they used to have visual reality dome room. They had recording studios in there. They had the racers. One went forward, one went backward. They had the beast of all roller coasters. They had the beast at Kings Island, the fastest and oldest wooden roller coaster in the world. Also, they had what they call the Scooby Dooby. It was a smaller coaster for your children. It was big enough where a parent could ride with a child, or you could put two children on it. They had the bumper cars. I mean, I could just keep on going on and on and on and on. They had fireworks every night. Uh, Honestly, that was a very magical time for Kings Island, and they've lost that. It's still a nice place to go. I'm not bashing them. I'm not knocking them, but if I were buying a family pass, I would not be buying a family pass for my children. I would not let my child go down there and waste my money acting stupid and crazy. Because back in the day, they also, if you got out of hand, they told you. You had a dress code you had to go by. You know, I mean, you can wear jeans and or shorts and nice sneakers and a real t-shirt, not a wife beater. and a ball cap, whatever. But point being, you couldn't walk in there with a wife beater on and try to push people around and being a real punk or an asshole. You couldn't do that sort of stuff. They also, back in the day, they had the Skylift. They don't have that anymore. They had the Safari. They don't have that anymore. They had the PGA golfing tournaments there. They don't have that anymore. They had not only Wolf's Lodge, they also had the lodge across the street from Kings Island. They don't have that no more because they sold that to Showcase Cinema, which tanked within inside of 3 years. The reason I know that, my ex-mother-in-law at the time, I used to take her to work every day on my way to work and drop her off and pick her up and take her home because we lived right there, right near each other. But, if I was Mason and Kings Mills, I'd be saying, hey, pull Hanna-Barbera back in here. Bring the Enchanted Voyage back. Bring back, because that's for older people. And I would tell them, the city can also step in on Kings Island and say, hey, you need to pitch this. If you can't afford this thing, then you need to sell it and get somebody, and we'll agree to get somebody in here who can afford it to put it back to what it used to be. The buildings used to be pristine. I mean, my goodness, if somebody was to put a Taco Bell in there, oh, wow, or a Ron's Pizza, oh my goodness. I mean, it would go over. I mean, they got this is a key thing. You got all these La Rosa pizzas all of a sudden everywhere. That's not the real La Rosas. Okay, that don't have that flavor that it had when I was a kid. You want real La Rosas, you got to go to Kings Island. That's the last place for the real La Rosa sauce and all that, and the pizza and how they make it and all that. That's the last place you can get it. It's a little pricey. Also, they got Montgomery and ribs still. There's still some people hanging in there, like the German beer gardens. Last time I heard, they were still there. I've not been there in a few years due to my illness, but I'm going to go back this year. And check it out. Also, the stupidest thing you can do is take away Winterfest, and they took away Winterfest. So yeah, they definitely need to check some of their management staff out because they're not making the best decisions for the community or for the park. To me, that seems pretty self-centered. Kings Island was always a place you could go to when you was younger. I mean, they had like the log rides, where you walk through the log cabins, all these log cabins, and while you're in line and stuff, and they got shade and they got air conditioning blowing down on you so you don't get too hot. And then you get this big log, and it's got seats in it. And you start going around all these little twists and turns, and there's water under you and everything, and then all of a sudden you go straight down this thing. And when you got to go straight down, everybody always lean forward, put that weight towards the front as much as possible, build up all the speed you could, get the biggest splash. That was always fun. Man, I could go on and on and on and on and on. Even Hanna-Barbera Land. I mean, I remember when my mother took sick, but she wanted to be with me, and I was just a young kid. And we would go get on the Enchanted Voyage and let everybody else go do their thing. And me and my mom would just ride the Enchanted Voyage, the Smurf ride, the Enchanted Voyage from Hanna-Barbera all day long. And they knew my mother was sick, so they never made us get off. Normally they don't stop the boats, but if my mom had to get off to get up and relieve herself at the local facilities, and I needed to as well, and we wanted to grab a pop or something, then we would get back in line. And once they noticed that we was back in line, they'd always bring us up to the front. They had a heart, And it wasn't just us they did that for. I've seen them do that all my life. They used to have candy wrapper stations. They used to hire actual LPNs to work the candy wrapper station in case a child fell and got hurt or something, whatever. And they had one of the most prestigious 5-star restaurants at one time that was right above the entranceway of Kings Island. It was just unreal food. It was the best food I'd ever had in my life. And I'm being told that a lot of that's changed. They got rid of the bumper cars. People found that offensive because, you can wreck. It's violent. Jesus, are you kidding me? You taking all the fun out of kids' lives and then you wonder why they end up being mutts when they're older. I mean, come on, man. Kids got to live too. And Hanna-Barbera, that was like our Saturday morning cartoon guys. I mean, that's where it was at. Christmas time at Kings Island. Oh my God. Talk about beautiful. They'd freeze over the main pond. Everybody go ice skating. The Eiffel Tower was all decorated up. Main Street was all decorated up. You could go and they had the water thawed out for the Smurf ride, the Enchanted Voyage, You could still ride that. So my mom and me would ride that because my mom was very ill for a long time. And she was able to ride that with me though, and she took a lot of pleasure and pride in being able to be there with me, and I was very proud of her for coming. And I have a lot of dear memories from Kings Island. I wish they would landscape it, and they used to have guys walking around with dustpans and brooms, keeping the place tidy, picking up trash. That's before other people started showing up there and just dropping their cups in the middle of the lane when there's a trash can 5 feet away because they're just so sorry and lazy. Last time I was there, I was just disgusted. I mean, not being funny, it's like, okay, you would see kids walking up, putting their trash in garbage cans, but yet you'd see these big minority guys, just standing there eating pizza right out the box and then dropping the box right there on the ground and walking off. That person should be barred for life. They should be barred for life. You got to clean up your image, man. Kings Island's got to clean up its image. Just got to get rid of bad people like that. And don't hold no quarter, because that's not racism. That's just common sense, man. You don't do that. I remember when they used to have picnic areas all over the place at Kings Island. I remember when they had the safari at Kings Island. They had elephants, rhinos, giraffes. They had big snakes in aquariums. They had, they had monkeys. They had everything. I mean, hippopotamuses. I mean, it was crazy the stuff they had. And then right over from that was the golfing course, and the PGA used to come through there. That was big money for them. And they had Timberwolf Coliseum. Phil Collins played there in his heyday. Bryan Adams. I want to say Motley Crue. And I'm talking back in the late 80s, These bands were playing there, man. Huey Lewis and the News on a couple of ventures. I mean, I want to say Janet Jackson also played there, when she first broke. It's so different now. It would probably take about, Hanna-Barbera, honestly, under their new ownership, would probably jump at the opportunity because they know that would be automatic sales. I could even bargain that deal. Shit. Unless you're an absolute asshole or imbecile, you could get Hanna-Barbera back in there. and then take maybe 10, $15 million and bring back the Enchanted Voyage, bring back a couple of the coasters, the originals, the oldies that really attracted people, like the King Cobra, the stand-up roller coaster, the whirly around. I forget what they used to call it. It was like an octopus, and it spun around. All these seats spun around. You had like 6 people in the seat. Um, the racers, as far as I know, they're still there, and so is the Beast. I'd bring back the Scooby Doo ride for the little kids. Put the Flintstones back in there with all their little rides, as well as the Smurf stuff, and have people hired to walk around and really clean that place up, and not only clean it up, but police the place, put walkie talkies on them, and when they see white or black people throwing boxes down the middle of the area and just keeping on walking because they're just acting bummish or something. I don't know. Put them out. Take a picture of them. Put them out. ID them, and tell them don't ever come back here again. Escort them out to the parking lot, and have the police escort them out of the parking lot. That's the police's job. And make sure the police tell them don't ever come back down here again. You're not welcome, and you are barred. That'll stop that kind of garbage from happening, and we'll be able to keep the park cleaner. And I'd love to see it landscaped. All the flowers they used to put out every year, the mulch, the trees were always trimmed up real nice and flowered up. They had dogwoods. And that tree flowers like crazy. They had tulips everywhere. They had rose bushes everywhere. It was just beautiful. They had holly bushes. It was gorgeous back in the day. They had junipers everywhere. It was just, and the air seemed to be cleaner when they had all that greenery, hostas and things like that. So the air seemed to be a lot cleaner. And you do know they have like a couple hundred acres that they're not even using right now because they shut down all those picnic areas and some rides back there in the back and all that kind of stuff. I'd bring back the virtual reality, and I'd definitely bring back the Skylift. That was a huge attraction. Like I said, man, $10, $15 million, which is nothing for people that own a place like that. And cut a deal with Hanna-Barbera and get their asses back in there, pitch all that garbage, sell off that garbage stuff, and you get some of your money back right there. And then, your first year, you're going to, once you make the announcement and you start showing all these rides and you've done a major overhaul, cleaned the park up, painted all the buildings, made it look right again, come out with the merchandise from Hanna-Barbera that, you split the proceeds with and all that sort of, man, come on. There's money, big money. And bring back Timberwolf Concert Hall and start booking these 80s acts that everybody is starting to fall so much in love with. And some of the 90s stuff as well, and 2000s as well. I'm not excluding them at all. I have a lot of respect for Evanescence and people like that. Extremely talented. Book Five Finger Death Punch, not Five Finger Death Punch. Book Nightwish in there for a week. That'd be a huge attraction. But not too huge where you couldn't control it. That's what I'm looking at, because I understand it's a confined area and you have to put the proper kind of, and bring back the ice capades, bring back, the plays and stuff, and bring back the chefs that used to make that restaurant above Kings Island so great, and get that Eiffel Tower back up to par, and the carousel below the Eiffel Tower, get the bumper cars put back in there and the A cars. Let's have something for everybody instead of concentrating on idiots that still think they're in high school, that are 30 years old, living in mommy and daddy's basement, got 10 kids that don't know what to do, refuse to work, and mommy and daddy buy them a Kings Island season pass just to get them to get out of the basement. Come on, man. Let's get something in there for everybody. I'm not trying to exclude them, but it'd be nice to have something in there for everybody, for every age group. That's what I'm pointing out. And they used to have educational stuff down there all the time. And they used to put on live shows down there in the main arena all the time theirself, and they were very entertaining. They were very good. They used local talent for that. They did acoustic shows over all the way on the southwest part of the park and over by the old log rides and stuff. They used to have a couple of acoustic jams over there every night. It was just, man, it was awesome. And then they had the walk across bridge with the picnic area, and then they had a outside eating area for one of the taco stands over there. And when you went over, you could look down. They had like thousands of koi fish in the ponds. It was just gorgeous, and they had the pond all lit up. You could see all the koi's down there, and people would be throwing like little bread pieces to them and stuff, feeding them. We need that back, man. We need that back. We need that spark of hope. Sometimes that sparks hope, and it creates more jobs and living wage jobs. Instead of paying $8 an hour, why don't you try paying people $15, $20 an hour? Then they'll do more work, and you don't have to hire 10,000 people. You might only have to hire 7,000. Just throwing a ballpark figure out there. And run it from 8 in the morning until 2 the next morning. The beer gardens, get that up and running again, properly and cleanly. Wow. Kings Island used to absolutely just slam and befuddle Walt Disney all the way around. Disneyland couldn't handle it. Disney World couldn't handle them. I mean, Hanna-Barbera was making a fortune. So Warner Brothers knows if they pull open the books from back in the day, they would know that they're making a fortune. You guys will be making a fortune off of them being there and off of some of the products, of course. Stuffed animals and all that kind of stuff. Bring back all the games that we used to have, like throw the baseball. They got to guess how fast you're throwing a baseball. You took all the stuff out of it that really meant a lot to a lot of people. Put a lounge in there with a buffalo wings or something, man, where people 45 and up can go and sit and relax for a couple hours in the air conditioning and watch a formula race or something. You know what I mean? I wouldn't play no boxing or MMA stuff up in there because you don't want Donnybrooks breaking out. But, formula racing, drag car racing, motorcycle racing, speedboat racing, things like that, racing, horse racing. I mean, there's nothing wrong with any of that. People really like it. They really like to watch stuff like that. That's not going out. Carriage racing. I mean, come on. I mean, you can even do just regular down, strip racing down the street and stuff. I miss the old Kings Island so bad. I really do. I would love for the Kings Island I grew up in to be available to the youth and the older people of today. It would be such a blessing. It really would. Cedar Point, man, they're on point. I mean, they're really good. They're much better than Paramount. Jesus. Paramount, stick with pictures. Get your ass out of the whole park ordeal. Cedar Point, I think if they understood what Kings Island really was back in the early and mid and late 80s, they would go back to that so fast it would befuddle everybody. I mean, it was just so great. Everything was so clean, pristine. I mean, even in the middle of the day, they would have certain areas being washed down. That's how clean they kept it. Somebody spilled a milkshake on accident. They didn't sit there and let it sit there all day and just put a sign up, watch your step or stay out of it, please. No, they have a guy come up with a power washer and, rinse that off, or a mop, whichever. I've seen them do both. Power wash it off the walkway up into a sewer area, and get it down in the sewer, or, mop it and then go dump it down in the sewer and then go mop it again to be sure there's nothing sticky there. The shops had much more merchandise, and they kept their prices reasonable even at that day. Everybody used to say, wow, this stuff's really cheap for an amusement park, even back in the day. But they sold stuff and they didn't get greedy with prices. And that's what Cedar Point needs to learn. That's what all of us need to learn. All of us. Don't let them make you greedy with their pricing, because they're trying to make a fortune off something that costs them $2. They want $50 for it. That's not cool, man. That's too greedy. You got something for $2, you sell it for 10. I mean, hey, I remember the Kings Island Steins and the old maps. As a matter of fact, I'm going to buy me a few old maps from Kings Island this year. And I'm going to post them up in my house. I love Kings Island. Some of the best times of my life were spent there. It really hurts me to hear how it's gone. Me and my family, we used to go down there 3-4 times a year, and then we go down there again with the church groups. My mother bought me a Kings Island season pass, and me and a couple of my friends used to go down there about twice a week, because back then a slice of pizza was like $2. A beverage was like $1.50. You go back to pricing stuff accurately like that, you're going to make more money, and in turn, you're creating more jobs, because the people supplying you have to hire more people to keep up with your needs. That's what people don't think about. You got to be smart in business. And if you go pricing things so outlandishly, people cannot afford it. What do? They retaliate by not coming no more. That's kind of the thing with Kings Island now. The people that do belong there are not there no more. The people that don't belong there are there now, and they tear everything up. I hear horror stories about that place now. And, of course, management downplays it. But management in any field are liars. They're like lawyers. They're liars. That's just as simple as it gets. I miss the old WEBN t-shirts with Kings Island logos on there. How many of you remember them? Those were freaking awesome, dude. WEBN joint venture with Kings Island. 96 Rock with venture with Kings Island. Come on. I wish I had them old shirts still. Not that I could wear them. God, I was $1.10. Now I'm like $2 and some change. Yeah, I couldn't wear them shirts now if I had to, but I could post them up in frames as memorabilia. I used to have an Eiffel Tower, a die-cast Eiffel Tower. Somebody stole that. It's things like that that I miss that we used to have. And the old Model A cars that we used to drive, on the track. And they kept you like 20 yards apart. That was a good time, man. That was a good time. You let the lady drive or whatever, and you sit there and you sip on your drink, because they didn't make you get rid of your drink on that ride. They just required that you had a top on it and a straw. If you got caught popping the top open, trying to be Joe Cool, that guy over there, he's doing this. I'm special. I'm a different person. I'm gonna do it like that. Yeah, they'd throw your ass off there so quick it wasn't funny, and that's what it needs to be. I mean, they got to draw the line in the sand. Um, they had their rules. They stuck by them. People got along because they knew if they didn't, they got tossed out and they were barred for life. But the Skylift, definitely bring that back. Hanna-Barbera's Enchanted Voyage, and the kiddie areas where they allow the kids to go into the big ballroom, and that they would have all these balls, millions of balls in this basket, and the kids would roll through there, and they'd all come up, with these balls and stuff, and be tossing them back and forth. It was a good time, man, for the kids, and they get like a half hour in there if you wanted them to. You buy tickets and stuff, and awesome, man. And it didn't cost nothing. I mean, it's like $1 for like 15 minutes. Usually they let you stay in there for a half hour as long as there wasn't a line, because it attracted people. Now, what would I change up even from the old days? I wouldn't go with Coca-Cola. Not saying I wouldn't have Coca-Cola machines inside Kings Island, that would not be my premier drink. I would approach RC Cola and I would tell them, bring 4 of your products, including regular RC, and put them in a few of these restaurants and a couple of, guys who sit standing out there in the sun paying for it all day, get you some pop. They always had them little lemon cups. That would cool you down real quick if you was overheating. People with disabilities used to go to Kings Island because they didn't get picked on. Now the minorities want to pick on the people with disabilities, It's just sick and it's sad. And I'm not just cracking on the minorities. I'm going after everybody. When I say stuff, I'm going after everybody. But I can honestly say the last time that I was at Kings Island, me and a buddy of mine witnessed a big dude eating pizza, and he just tossed what was left on the ground right in front of where people was walking and everything. And basically his thing was fuck white folks. And he just they kept on walking, and a worker saw him and he said something to him. They actually pushed him back, and he got on his walkie-talkie and security grabbed him. Then, of course, they started screaming racism. You're going to face that. You can't help it. You may as well get over it. People like that shouldn't be allowed into a decent environment around decent people that are there to have a good time. If you're there to cause trouble, you should be thrown out and never, ever, ever be allowed within 1,000 fucking yards of the damn parking lot or anything to do with Kings Island ever again. They should have your fingerprints, and if you show up and you do something and they didn't catch it, then you should go straight to jail for 6 months. I'm sorry. I just don't buy that bull crap. Our children should always be safe there, and they always were. They still are, I hope. They used to have a tunnel that was covered over by vines, and they lit it up at night. Man, it was like walking through just a majestic pathway. I mean, it was just gorgeous. My goodness, it was so beautiful. And everything was so clean. The air was clean down there because they had all this greenery. I mean, it took in all the CO2 and all the smog. It was just beautiful, and the way they had it landscaped was just absolutely phenomenal. I mean, I could go down there and I could point out places that, tell them exactly what was there. That's how much time I spent there when I was a kid. And I could still remember, it was a very magical time. And reopen all those picnic areas so people could bring their own food, and they have to clean up after themselves. Now, the only thing that Kings Island had to do was have people that would go and get the trash bag out of the trash can, put a new bag in the trash can, load the old bag into the back of their little truck, because they had a little open belly truck, and there'd be two guys in there, and they would put the bag tied up, of course, in the back of the truck, nice and neat, and they'd drive off to the dump, and then they'd go, dump it in the dumpster. Like I say, I remember stuff, and I know when they had their act together. They don't have their act together nowhere near what they used to. Snoopy and Peanuts and dinosaurs. Come on, man, get a life. Quit fucking around. Get a Hanna-Barbera back in there. Contact Warner Brothers and let's make a deal. Warner Brothers would probably pay half the cost to get the stuff moved in there and get the Smurf ride back in there, get the Enchanted Voyage and all that back in there. Probably even have to pay for the Skylift, because that'd be the expensive one. But it's really neat because you can get in that Skylift. They had binoculars in there and everything, and you could look around for miles. And at nighttime, it was just beautiful. And then have fireworks every single night. But on the 4th of July and at the end and at the beginning of the season, you go all out. I mean, you really put on huge displays with the Star Wars music going on and all that. Just beautiful. Just beautiful. Well, you can't do that now because Walt Disney does own Star Wars. So you probably have to go with... you'd have to get permission to use like the Hobbit music or something, which would still be awesome. I mean, it would still be awesome. Space Odyssey 2000, you could use that, get permission to use that. With what I just named, I personally, never been to college or nothing, but I personally, if they gave me what I just said, triple the security down there. Open your doors 3 to 4 weeks earlier in the year and shut them after Winterfest. Hire people and stop mistreating people. I have heard about it. Stop mistreating your employees. Pay them a living wage, and you'll have them back every year. And you give them a little bit of a bonus for when they're unemployed or whatever, along with unemployment. Man, that's just being a decent person. Let's stop cutting on each other and let's start helping each other. And let's bring these things back. If enough of us go to them and say, hey, what about this and this and this? I mean, if they say no, find another place to go. I hate to say that. Have wonderful memories there. Or we could put pressure on them to sell it to somebody else who will listen to us. Or they could put somebody like myself or you in charge and say, you got X amount of dollars, figure out how you want to go, get on the phone with Time Warner, or not Time Warner, but I'm sorry, Warner Brothers, and, talk to Warner Brothers and see if they're a go on this, and we'll sit down at the table and we'll make this happen. And then go put that Enchanted Voyage back in, go put that Light Galley back in, go put the Skylift back in, put the Screaming Demon back up, put the King Cobra back up, can some of these trash rides that you've been coming up with that you blow up and that you lie about that people really don't dig. They say, yeah, I rode it. It's no big deal. I mean, that's what I hear now from the kids. Yeah, I rode it. It's no big deal. Fuck it. Like, wow. When we rode like the King Cobra, it was like, man, people talked about it for 6 or 8 weeks. Like to give a shout out to Hobbs Horror, my brother Odin, Paula Dumpster Diving in Cincinnati. What's up, boo? And let's see, Frank Scrap Dog. The Scrap Dog in the house. Yeah. As a matter of fact, I need to check him out tonight, see if he's doing his Christmas thing yet. And say hi to the old boy. Anyway, all y'all have a safe holiday. Don't worry about what's going on with this politicking thing, because trust me, if it's really that bad, people that need to handle things are going to handle things, and it's going to change. If not, then we know, there were some mistakes made, and they won't be made again. But God bless y'all. Y'all take care. Hope everybody stays safe. If you get a crazy idea, just go to a priest or a minister or the police and talk to them. That's what they're there for. Remember the reason for the season, and do us a favor. Shoot an email off to Kings Island letting them know that you'd like to see Hanna-Barbera and the days of the 80s make a comeback. And tell them about this little, I call it a podcast, but it's not, about this little stream here with Defiance Illusion. And, everybody please click like and subscribe and keep viewing our stuff. We really appreciate you, and we view yours too, and we give you a thumbs up. So one hand washes the other, and let's help each other grow on here. With that being said, God bless. God bless America. God bless you and your family. And may you all have a safe and wonderful holiday. Dayton Strong, Gator signing off. We love y'all.